Unique in French-speaking Switzerland, the Ecole Moser Double Diploma enables students to graduate with qualifications in both the Swiss Federal Maturité and the International Baccalaureate program. This is not about giving students a choice between the two programs, it is about enabling them to do both. The Swiss Maturity and the International Baccalaureate represent two very different educational philosophies with two very different approaches to teaching, learning, and assessment. The Maturity is a familiar, traditional education model, a highly academic, knowledge-rich curriculum in which students are examined in 13 different subjects. In contrast, the IB Diploma is a progressive, competency-based curriculum examining only 6 academic subjects, with much more focus on how knowledge might be critically applied in the real world. Unlike the Maturity, the IB has a more holistic approach to learning that encourages students to develop soft skills whilst challenging them both inside and outside of the traditional examination room. What the Double Diploma offers are synergies that incorporate the strengths of both systems whilst avoiding the shortcomings of each. Now this is Bloom's taxonomy, a framework for categorizing educational goals. The foundation of the pyramid is a broad knowledge base upon which rises higher order thinking and learning skills. The great thing about the Matu is that students are expected to know an awful lot of stuff about an extraordinarily wide range of subjects. The Matu provides a really solid base to this learning pyramid. In contrast, the IB is less concerned with content knowledge and instead provides opportunities for students to apply their learning in a more reflective and critical way. In particular, the IB's 2 additional core subjects of CAS and TOK take students out of their traditional academic comfort zone, turning their attention both inwards to reflect on their own learning, but also outwards to reflect on a world outside of the classroom. So how does this work in practice? Firstly, we've chosen IB subjects that match most closely the content of the Maturity. These are the 13 components of the Maturity. And these are the 6 subjects we have carefully chosen as part of the IB program. This leaves the additional IB core, that is the subjects of TOK and CAS, as the only additional dimensions that we need to add. Secondly, we try to spread the workload over the 2 years. Now we have a 4-semester program that looks something like this. Remember that the Maturity is a 3-year program, so the students will have already completed a significant proportion of the Matu before they actually begin the Double Diploma. That means they've done semester 1 and 2 already. Now importantly, we have 2 different exam seasons. So we do the Maturity exams in winter and the IB exams in the summer. Unusually, we do 2 of the IB's 6 subjects in the first summer. We call these anticipated subjects. And rather than leaving everything to the end, this gives students less pressure at the end. Semester 3 begins in August with a special IB week dedicated to the 2 anticipated subjects from the humanities and the sciences, for example, history and chemistry. In this semester, IB students are provided with significant laboratory time in order to conduct their own experiments, something which is not really required from the Maturity curriculum. This leads to the first Double Diploma pressure point as students produce their first 2 IB internal assessments, the IAs, around the time of the October holiday. As soon as these are completed, our attention switches back to the Maturity and for preparation. This is, of course, for the Premier Partiel, the exams in the sciences and humanities, which conclude S3 in January. Now it's this time between the first IAs and the first Matu exams that students tell us is the most difficult time in the Double Diploma. From February to May, the focus shifts back to the IB and culminates in the 2 anticipated IB exams in science and humanities, and of course the highlight of the year, the TOK exhibition. The summer holiday between S4 and S5 is a time to recharge the batteries and complete the extended ESSO or the TM. Again, we start the next year with a special IB week in August, this time dedicated to the 4 remaining subjects of the IB, with special attention given to the internal assessments in the first language and in maths. S5 is almost exclusively dedicated to preparing for the deuxième partiel, of course, which will take place in January. Students then pass the Matu, and then we move on to S6. February to the May exams is entirely dedicated to completing the remaining requirements of the IB, the internal assessments in the various subjects that are still to be completed, the TOK essay, and of course the CAS documentation. S6 closely resembles what students can expect to encounter when at university. You have a 3-day teaching week, and the remaining time is free to complete whatever assignments need to be completed. They're guided by teachers, but students are free to come and go as they prepare for the final of their 4 exams. And if all goes well, graduation. In the end, is it all worth it? Is it worth all the additional stress and workload? Of course, I think so, but don't take my word for it. Listen to what our students have to say. For more information, check out the website or contact me on this address. Thanks for watching.